be moving forward with the next session. The role of AI in modern HR practices by Mr. Karan Singh, co-founder and chief marketing officer, CrezamCreative Tech Private Limited. So, Mr. Karan Singh is a dynamic leader and accomplished professional with expertise spanning marketing, sales, and strategic business development. Mr. Karan is a co-founder and chief marketing officer of CrezamCreative Tech Private Limited, a cutting-edge talent intelligence solutions provider supported by leading institutions like IIM Lucknow EIC, Razor Pay Rise, and Draper Startup House. So, under his visionary leadership since November 2022, Crezam has achieved a remarkable growth by delivering impactful and sustainable solutions to clients. Karan also serves as the Director of Sales at Blueching Technologies Private Limited, where he collaborates with some of India's leading expert enterprises to create bespoke solutions that foster long-term value. So, any contributor to the entrepreneurial ecosystem, Karan is a proud member of the Draper Startup House community and has a strong foundation in financial modeling and stock market analysis, which adds depth to his strategic insights. His entrepreneurial mindset, customer-centric approach, and commitment to innovation have earned him recognition as a standout leader. So, please join me in welcoming Mr. Karan Singh to share his expertise and vision with us today. So, over to you, Mr. Karan.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Priya, and hello to every other person that is on this call. And thank you so much for Mr. Santosh Ganesh to be giving this opportunity to me as well. And okay, so let me just start off. I'll try to keep it really short. I think one of the most important thing that I've ever learned is that I've heard this one quote, right, from the management guru Peter Drucker. The greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence, it is to act with yesterday's logic, right? Because he highlights that in order to move forward effectively, one needs to be adaptable, innovative, and willing to rethink current processes, right? And the process today in focus is the hiring, right? Every mishire is a lost opportunity to bring in someone who could have driven innovation or let's say contributed positively to your company culture and probably helped you achieve your business goals. Imagine your innovative ideas that were never actually realized, your market share that was never actually captured, or your growth that was never really achieved because the right people weren't in the right places, right? These are not just hypothetical scenarios, they are actually everyday realities for organizations that haven't updated their talent validation strategies. And often it is in these lost opportunities that, there are the heaviest burdens of every company, right? Where a single game changing idea could have shifted, industries for this particular company. But this missed potential is not just a cost, it is actually a severe liability, right? One of the most recent report I have read, from the Society of Human Resource Management (SHRM), estimates that a cost of a bad hire can be up to 5 times the employee's annual salary. When you factor in recruitment costs, training expenses, lost productivity, and potential damage to the whole team morale, these costs can also range anywhere between the loss of an individual salary all the way up to the loss of a project or a client, right? I believe that the industry is still evaluating candidates based on historical data rather than future potential, right? We must be, intentional or more intentional with our hiring processes. And that means fundamentally rethinking how we can probably assess talent itself, right? Probably try to imagine a system that relies heavily on subjective gut feelings, personal biases, incomplete information. That's precisely what we're doing when we lean primarily on traditional resumes and unstructured interviews, right? Resumes, for instance, are at best a historical snapshot, right? They are a linear representation or a presentation of experience, but they rarely capture the complexities of a candidate's skills or their adaptability or their true potential. I, based on the experience that I have gotten with our most recent clients, for every one resume that contains information that is relevant to a recruiter, there are 20 other resumes that are completely irrelevant, right? Now, think about the interviews themselves. While they are considered a very critical component of the validation process, traditional interviews can often, are often unstructured by nature, relying heavily on the interviewer's interpretation of the candidate's answers and personal connection with the candidate, right? So I believe that this leads to inconsistencies in how candidates are assessed. in general, right? The same questions can be interpreted differently across various interviewers and can often be influenced by unconscious biases, right? For some people, it might be about the caste, about the color, about the creed, about the gender, or it can be as simple as, their perception of the right or wrong answer as well, right? Now, if you look at a creative recruitment in general, creativity is completely subjective, right? So here, the game of perception itself sets in. And for you to understand, okay, whether this is the right answer or this might have been the right answer, now that completely depends on biases, right? Now, one thing is there are things like confirmation biases as well, right? These cognitive biases are deeply ingrained in our human nature and are difficult to eliminate through training processes. No matter, even if you try to train them even for a month, a year, there are some deep rooted cognitive biases that people always tend to, and those are their first decision making statements, right? The use of an unstructured interview is therefore allows these biases to remain present during even the hiring process itself, right? According to the research published in the Harvard Business Review, 60% of the companies admit that interviews are the least helpful methods for predicting success of a hire, further highlighting the inherent flaws in the traditional methods of current talent validation. These ingrained flaws in the traditional hiring process are often overlooked and seen as normal practice, yet they are detrimental to a business's ability to grow and innovate, right? The move of, or let's say the move towards AI in talent validation isn't like a fleeting trend as such, but it's more of an evolutionary leap, right? The question we are no longer asking is if AI will transform the talent acquisition landscape, but when and how we are going to embrace this powerful change, right? The future of talent validation is undeniably AI powered, right? There's no other statement attached to it, right? And it is not a question of choice, but rather a question of when and how fast the adaptation could be, right? And AI by far is what, as far as what I have seen, is actually a solution and not a replacement, right? For many, the mention of AI actually triggers images of job automation, of human
Are the
obsolete.
proposals
Sorry.
there?
Of human efforts actually being obsolete, and but I believe that, however, the role of AI in talent management should not be viewed as a threat, but rather as a powerful tool, right? An essential collaborator for HR professionals, right? We are a tool that is supposed to be assisting the existing needs of HR, right? The human element is paramount in recruitment. This is something that is told to me by every single client I've ever spoken to, or generally, even when you have a conversation with HR, the human touch is actually the most important thing, right? AI is not designed to replace, this human intuition or the interpersonal skills that the recruiters or the hiring managers possess. Instead, AI probably augments and enhances those skills, right? Allowing people to move on beyond their limitations that humans face, such as cognitive biases that I was talking about, right? This is why even at my company, that the vision is of AI acting as a collaborative partner, taking over the tedious, time consuming, and often highly subjective elements of talent validation, freeing up most of HR professionals time, so that they can focus more on strategic planning and fostering probably a positive experience and building genuine connection with candidates, as even Jaishi ma'am was explaining earlier on in her statements as well, right? So it's always about building those genuine connections with the candidates. That's when they feel like, at my company, there's a very important saying that we follow. It's not just the company that recruits the candidates, it's also the candidate that's choosing the right company. That's when you achieve that cultural balance between the candidate and the companies as well, right? Now imagine HR professionals being able to dedicate more time to strategic thinking and to the crucial or the critical work of onboarding, mentorship, employee development, all because they have a powerful AI ally handling their complex and data intensive work of candidate assessment, right? Now, this is not about replacing the human touch, but more about making the human touch more impactful and accurate and genuinely strategic by nature. Now, a recent research that I had read about, how by the Harvard Business Review has shown that, unstructured interviews have a low validity, often yielding no better hiring decision than random selection processes, right? AI, on the other hand, operates on a foundation of data-driven precision. With the power of machine learning, AI algorithms can analyze a vast array of data points ranging from hard skills to technical proficiencies, all the way to soft skills and behavioral patterns. in order to find the best fit between the candidate and the desired position, right? Now, by objectively analyzing all candidates based on concrete data, AI transcends the limitations of human subjectivity itself by identifying the talent and may have hidden from the human observation, right? Now, one thing that I personally believe that is, even today, some of the best HR recruiters or interviewing itself by the term itself is not a profession as such, right? Nobody is designed to take an, or there's no position designed to take an interview specifically, right? So subject matter experts, HR, hiring managers, and talent leads, a lot of other people come in this very crucial process, right? But even if you get the best HR interviewer on board, they are also human in nature, right? So they have the capability of taking at most 10 to 12 excellent interviews in a single day. But AI, especially at my platform as well, we could be handling more than 12,000 interviews in a single day, right? So it is more about consistent accuracy and making sure that you're right every single time. And evaluation is that crucial while you're looking to hire for a particular company, right? So I believe that we are at an inflection point, and we can no longer afford to rely on processes that are perpetuate the inefficiencies or biases and missed opportunities of the past. The tools are available, the technology is already ready, and the potential for positive change is tremendous, right? Companies that embrace this future will gain a significant competitive advantage and hiring the right talent faster, right? More efficiently and more accurately than those who cling to outdated methodologies of recruitment itself, right? Therefore, the question for you as leaders is now, not if you are going to use AI within your organization, but how quickly and how strategically you will integrate these tools onto your talent acquisition strategies. And to be very honest, here at Crezam, we are not just adapting to the future of talent validation; we are actively shaping it. So that's.
So thank you so much for sharing the insights on the role of AI in modern HR practices. It was quite provoking. And now we would like to hear from audience. If you have any questions to Mr. Karan, please type them into the chat box. So looking ahead, how do you envision the role of HR professionals evolving as AI increasingly automates many HR tasks? What new skills and competencies will be most valuable in the future of HR?
I believe one of the most important thing that a HR should be possessing is people skills, right? Now, this is something that is an age-old thing that everybody has spoken about, and HRs have mastered it to a certain extent, right? But more than people skills these days, strategic thinking is a lot more important. But HRs don't find the time to do so, right? So, as I covered in whatever I was talking about as well, it is very important that you find yourself strategic allies who can help you out in this process, but at the same time are not, are cost effective as well, right? And I believe that right now AI is helping shape these timelines and these methods and progress more in terms of taking a data driven insights and helping out in tedious processes and all of these things. I believe AI is a strategic partner for you in all of these things, right? So using AI is actually going to help you be more efficient, right? Actually, we have another saying within a company, where people always say that, AI is here to replace jobs, right? So we say if AI is here to replace jobs, why not use AI to land better jobs, right? So that is the entire proposition or the position at which we should be thinking. So,
So once again, thank you so much, Mr. Karan, for sharing the valuable insights
thank you.
about AI in modern HR practices.